What's up, class? All right, so this is the video that I think that when I show the general public how to do this tech, I'm going to use this video as well. So I'm going to be speaking to you guys like you guys are a much larger audience. But to start off, I'd like to say I have officially isolated monokaryons using this technique from the class. The technique that I demonstrated for the first time, actually, that I knew would work, which is badass because it ended up working. I have officially isolated, verified monokaryons, a shitload of them. So I'd like to say thank you to the class. You guys are awesome. You guys supported me. A lot of people have hated on me doing this class, thinking that they know better, thinking that we don't know what the hell we're talking about. Really, to each their own. If they don't want to use common sense, that's on them. All that aside, we did it. I couldn't have done it without, really, I remember when I first presented to John with my idea, he was pretty much like, yeah, I think that'll work. And that's all I needed, man. John's so smart, man. I appreciate John so much. And love having him on my team. To always, he makes good ideas even better. So, funny fact though, so originally we were just going to do a serial dilution like you would with a multi-spore. And then I think it was a few days before, me and John were talking and I came up with the needle idea with using a small gauge needle to potentially give you more control of putting your LC to agar, your monokaryotized LC to agar. And also, I think that the small needle, in theory, will tear apart and break any of those clamps that might be slightly holding on or holding on, but they're weak. Definitely think that it makes a big help. Trying to think if there's anything else to say before we get started. I think that that's it. Just, yeah, man. Thank you guys. So, to start, I'm going to explain how we started. A lot of people want to crossbreeds, and they think that as long as they can get a monokaryon, that they'll be able to do it. And it's not that simple. Everybody could know how easy it is, because I'm going to show pretty much the world how simple it is to not only isolate a monokaryon, but to isolate the monokaryon from an isolate that already has that bomb DNA that you're looking for, so that you don't have to use spores to cross. It's like two spores that cross. If you isolate two different spores and you grow mons from them and you cross them, chances are it's going to act like a multi-spore mushroom, or possibly just a weak mushroom. That not every dikaryon in the multi-spore is supposed to make it or is supposed to perform well. In fact, a much larger percentage of them are not supposed to perform than there are. That said, for those of you who don't understand exactly what a dikaryon is, well, I'm sure that if you're watching this, you're either going to learn what a dikaryon is somewhere soon, if you're interested enough, or you know what a dikaryon is. So with a dikaryon, there's still two mons, the same two mons that were mated from spore. The fact that that dikaryon produced a mushroom from that spore flush that was superior enough for you to want to clone, to move on with your next generation, your next clone's generation, tells you that that dikaryon has probably got some better genetics. And when you allow a dikaryon to fruit, even if you're going on to the second generation or the third generation of the clone, the dikaryon changes. It has to undergo a lot of changes in order to produce a fruit body and to reproduce spores. So you're isolating those traits and making them stronger each time. Even though it is the same dikaryon, you're just you're not cutting its genes in half, but you're cutting into the genes that it wants to express more, or the parts of the genes that it wants to express more. So when you have a badass culture, you know that, say you've got your ape culture that's fat and huge every time, bright blue, everybody you take some loves them. You don't have to go back to spore and cross that with something and potentially hunt something similar to those characteristics, because you have the actual dikaryon that has gone through those morphologies, has been cloned, has been worked right in front of you, and you can just have it basically grow a monokaryon using the technique that I'm showing you and easily isolate that monokaryon so that you can mate it to anything that you want. Potentially meaning that everything you cross is going to be good right off the gate, right off the bat, because you've now taken 2 champion racehorses and you have its offspring, versus taking 2 champion racehorses offspring and then breeding its offspring to another pair of champion racehorses offspring. You don't want the grandchildren, right? Or potentially the great-grandchildren to those original isolations that you love so much. You want the offspring directly from those champion racehorses. That's going to give you much better odds at your new horse being a champion racehorse. So, with that said, how do we get there? Well, I'm going to tell you guys, it doesn't involve snake venom. It doesn't involve some crazy high-powered, expensive lab-grade blender. It doesn't involve using peptone and all these different chemicals in order to keep the mons from clamping when you get them under the microscope, or whatever, by whatever means you're identifying them and isolating them that way. It's not complicated at all, guys, and I'm going to show you and explain to you why. So, how did I get all of these monokaryons that I'm claiming to have? Water. Okay, distilled water. When mycelium is underwater, phosphorus and magnesium get eaten fairly quickly, and it's also not very bioavailable to the mycelium when it's in water, when it's submerged. Unless if you have a lot of nutrients in your water, like a liquid culture. A liquid culture, they remain dikaryons until all those nutrients are eaten, and then the same thing happens. So even old LC will do this exact same thing, and that is they undergo, I believe, a type of stress, a very gentle stress, right? Because they're in water, because of the absence of phosphorus and magnesium, the dikaryon that's already in there doesn't break, but any new growth is monokaryotic. It's not clamping as it grows. It doesn't have that phosphorus and magnesium that encourages the clamping and the mating. So now, when you put a super low nutrient liquid culture into a jar of distilled water, in the class, you guys know we did 10%. 10% of the normal nutrient level in your monokaryotization LC than you would in your normal LC. That allowed it to eat enough of that liquid culture very quickly, while at the same time growing enough mycelium that's monokaryotic to be able to easily grab some and not isolate, and not, if you're isolating any, a very small amount of dikaryotic mycelium. So problem arises though, right? Now we have just the 2 dyes that were already, the 2 mons that were already making that dye together. So how do you keep them separate? Because the second you take them out of that jar and you introduce them to the oxygen and to the agar or whatever media it is that you're putting them in or on, they are going to be able to, the phosphorus and magnesium that's there is now going to be bioavailable, and also there's probably plenty of it around to help it so that it forms those clamps rather quickly. So what do? Well, if anybody knows what the drag and grab streaking technique is like, this will make perfect sense. So it's what I've done here is I have a syringe with a 27 gauge needle on it. The 27 gauge needle is there, like I said, for giving you more control, releasing small amounts of DLC onto your agar, while also ensuring that any dyes that are still connected as it goes through that tube, that needle will break. And what made me think of this is I remember talking to a doctor one time as to why you don't use a small needle when they draw your blood. And the reason is because your blood cells will get destroyed with a small needle going in it and coming out of it because it's too small of a hole. Now, I don't think that this is necessarily smaller than a dikaryon or a monokaryon, but I think that nothing's going to go straight in. There's definitely going to be a lot from the side, and it's going to cut a lot of them. And what you could even do is you could, after you extract this from your monokaryotized liquid culture, you could have a separate bottle or a separate something with, say, a few cc's of just distilled water along with this injected into it and sprayed, then sucked back up, then sprayed, then sucked back up. You could do it over and over and over again. Essentially, the more times you do it, the more likely you are to have broken all those dicaryons. And also, it doesn't get stuck in the needle when you're trying to do this. So anything that gets getting stuck on the needle on the way out is probably dikaryotized, right? So pushing it all the way through and all the way back in until there's no more tension, drawing anything up or pushing anything out. That tells you chopped the whole thing up into a pretty fine little powder. So yeah, this is important. It's not, you don't have to have this needle. You could just use, I'm sure, just a regular syringe without the cap with the needle attached to it, and you could draw up out of there and then probably just spray it down, randomly, and you probably isolate them on. So this is, like I said, similar to the dragon grab. So I've got this in here, a very small amount of liquid culture. I'm just gonna shake that sucker up. It's been on the stir plate for a while, but just for fun, we'll shake her up one more time and show you what we do, guys. Gonna sterilize that punk. Nice and sterile. Nice and good, guys. Hell yeah. Should go like this. I'm gonna grab this plate and cool out that needle in there. Now, guys, I want you to look and see this. I am just going to take a very small drop from this needle. There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it like this. And do it again. There we have it there. Okay, that one wasn't the best example of how to do it because I probably focusing kind of on the camera a little bit too much and squirted some out, but I will do it again. So you grab a new plate, guys. Oh yeah, new plate. Fun fact, Moon Daddy's favorite color is purple. Purple and gold, baby. Something about it, man. I'm gonna grab ourselves another plate here. Alright, where the hell is my goddamn sterile solution to clean this plate? Here it is. Okay. Go ahead and get the tip hot again. That's what she said. I said, girl, my tip is always hot. when you're around. What are you talking about? And she said, don't stab anybody. I said, that's what she said. I don't know. We're talking about syringe needles here, guys. Get your mouse out of the gutter. Come on. It ain't easy being cheesy, baby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Alright. Pull that needle down. And come right here like we were before. Oh, yeah, I got some liquid. There's another drop. And just kind of, oops, shit, back that one up. And see, hopefully not too much landed in there, because as those mons consolidate on this plate, they'll requint. Maybe I should aim it like this away, just in case I can't control it all the way up. Get some down here. Hopefully you guys kind of get the idea though, right? We'll do one more little one. Alright guys, this time I'm not going to focus so much on the camera, more so just on what I'm doing. I'm kind of making a mess over here. But I mean, look, we haven't even dented that. There's still lots of LC in there with a lot of monokaryons. Move it like this. Alright guys, and just to be safe, because I threw the whole LC bottle away already before I even isolated one of the Stardews, the two strains that I chose to cross for the class was Stardew, that's a tap black cap tidal wave cross. Beautiful, freaking dope culture, so unique, so beautiful. And crossing that to Leucistic Swamp Ghost, which I already have several monokaryons to, and to Stardew as well. But I don't have the monokaryotized mons, so this is going to be cool having these in the library. Yeah, Leucistic Swamp Ghost and Stardew. Now guys, I'm pretty sure this will be pretty simple to, in about 12 hours, come back and see pretty clearly that there's monokaryons in there floating around the same way as if you were to do a drag and grab. This is from Tuesday night. This is one of the plates. Now this plate isn't verified, but now if you check out this plate, if I had to guess, if I had to bet, that little piece that I already took a transfer from right there in the middle, that's a monokaryon, a single one. But I was also over here looking at this plate, and I saw some other really small growth going on that looks monokaryotized. So right here, I don't know if you guys can see. Kind of hard to see, but there is that little spot of mycelium that's just tiny. It just came from a little tiny piece. And then right here, all right here, see that right there where it gets like little dull shine? That's mycelium too, and it's acting like a monokaryon. So I'm going to take a transfer from there, and then shortly from this one right here. See if we can't get a better look. See it there? Jingling or little dingling around. Let's see. Oh yeah, see, I'm taking it away from the phone and looking at the light. Oh, I saw it really good. See? Right there where that reflection hits. Yeah, there she is. How exciting, huh? And then right down here where the reflection's hitting. And yep, so we're just gonna come right here. I'm just grabbing another plate, guys. So how's your guys' evening going? I'm freaking exhausted, you guys. I'm so tired. You guys have no fucking clue how tired I am. I'm losing my mind. I swear to God. As if I ever had one to begin with, but Jesus, man. If there was a glimmer of a hope that I had a fucking mind, it is gone now. I have pushed myself beyond the point of no return, my friends. Just kidding. But I don't know if I ever really wanted to return to begin with, so maybe. Anyways, that's getting a little bit too deep for this simple little tech for keeping those bomb genetics on tap to cross with any other bomb genetics whenever you want, using the easiest technique on the planet to do so. Usually the hardest way usually provides the best results, but actually when it turns out to monokaryotization, the easiest way will give you the best results. Just easier than isolating spores, that's for sure. So pretty sure I've got a monokaryon there. We will check it and make sure once it grows out a bit. And see, so I just barely grabbed a mon with this knife. So that means there's possibly mycelium from that mon on there. And if this mon is not the same as this mon, and they've already mated before to create that culture that I love, if I touch this with the scalpel with pieces of mycelium on it, it will clamp and it will not be a monokaryon anymore. Nice waste of my time. So you can burn it. It's probably the best way. Just take your torch over it real quick. I can go like that. Pretty confident I knocked off any mycelium that might have been hanging out. Yeah, take from the outer edge, guys. Just because you don't know if there's a piece of mycelium that's germinating around the inside of there with it, that's clamping, and as you isolate it, you think you have a mon, but then it grows out on the plate, and it turns out that it's a dikaryon. So take from that outside edge. Let this one have its own plate. Now, as I was looking just barely, I saw another one. Oh, yeah. I'll show you guys. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, right there. See, monokaryotic growth is really wispy and fine. It can be really hard to see sometimes, and it could be growing. You don't even realize it. You just think that there's nothing there, and then before you know it clamps with another mon that you didn't see, and you lost your chance to grab that monokaryon. This is when you're doing a streaking technique, one of the different streaking techniques. Just like we did now. This is definitely a different type of a streaking technique. So. Man, this is awesome. I was told by a lot of people that I couldn't do it. People think they know better. You know, if you know me, you know me. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it better just because you made me sad. And now I got to hurt your feelings. I'm just kidding, guys. No, I don't care, man. Let the haters be the haters. This is for us. Yep, that one goes there. And, yeah, hopefully this information finds you guys well. If you guys have any questions or anything you'd like to add, go ahead and add it in the comments when this video does go live. Anything else? Nope, nothing else, guys. Much love. Have a good rest of your morning, day, afternoon, brunching, evening, dinner time, midnight snack time, wherever it is, wherever you are. Whatever it is you're doing, man, you guys have a great fucking time doing it. Love you. Peace out.